Sorry lads, I just got muted out of nowhere. So I'm back. Sorry lads, I just got muted out of nowhere. Hold on, it's repeating. So I'm back.
Sunil Control
Oh,
FPS
in advertisements.
usado por em cada 2 dermatologistas.
Esta daqui é para quem chegou neste valor no único mês em Portugal.
Oh my.
I have to be honest, I don't actually like Windows. It's clunky, boring, and really ugly. But that is fixable. What I'm going to do is make Windows 11 look like macOS, the superior operating system. And this transformation is going to change completely everything. Object dock. This will turn the default Windows taskbar into this cool looking animated dock. Why does it have the Windows 7 logo on it? I went ahead and downloaded this dock. Then I opened the installer and went through the entire installation process on this low resolution installation screen. Why is it so low resolution? I don't know. Once I opened our new dock after the installation, it looked horrible. And for some reason we have a second dock as well on the top. It looks kind of weird with like 4 different sections, but we can easily turn it off. I have to say that the animations are pretty cool. Actually, they are a lot like macOS. I toggled the option to hide the default Windows taskbar so that we only have the new dock. Then I adjusted some settings and the positioning of icons. A huge problem is this old logo on the start menu. So I opened up Google and searched for the best possible Windows 11 start menu logo online. I found one and replaced the old one with something more appropriate. It looks kind of funny, but oh well. I adjusted the zoom effect to be a bit smaller and found out that there are actually multiple animations you can switch between. Like swing, for example, looks kinda strange. There's also bubble and glow. We'll just stick to zoom. Before we finish with the dock's customization, I wanted to quickly search for the finest macOS Sequoia wallpaper on Google Images and found a good quality wallpaper that we could use. I downloaded it, found out that I downloaded it wrong, downloaded it again, set it as the desktop wallpaper, and now we have it. Now, the final adjustment to the dock, I'll change its background to something more modern, like this black slab or whatever. It looks kinda crammed together, but no one's gonna notice anyway. But wait, is there something missing? Let me check. Ah, yes. Windows doesn't have this top menu panel. We need to somehow get it on our fake macOS. For that, I'll download a top menu skin called DropTop 4. The free version, obviously, as I don't want to pay for it. When I pressed the download button, it told me that we also need Rainmeter downloaded. So let's get that as well. Now they are both downloading. Once I open the Rainmeter installer, it again looks low resolution. I freaking love Windows. After Rainmeter's installed, we can open the DropTop 4 installer. I went through the setup process, told DropTop 4 that I want the macOS Sequoia top menu panel, and after a few seconds, it appeared on the top. It was kinda small, so I upsized it a few sizes, only to find out that it's extremely cluttered with icons. Luckily, I could easily turn off all of these useless icons. Then I also removed some of those menus right here. I set this Apple logo in the corner and made it monochrome. I changed the font to Sego UI, and we are pretty much finished with our brand new top menu panel. But now comes the best part. I'm going to add the macOS Launchpad to our fake macOS, which is like the screen with all the apps. To do that, we can download something called the WinLaunch. They even have a demonstration video. How nice. So you just press Shift Tab to open it. Okay, let's get it. After it was finished downloading, I opened the installer and went through the installation process. Once it was all set up, I opened the WinLaunch program and everything looked horrible. What the hell? Luckily, we can once again easily do some adjustments and now it should look fine. I moved some items out of their folders so that we have 2 pages of this Launchpad. Other than being a bit laggy, our new Launchpad looked pretty good. Very nice. We are almost finished with our transformation, but I figured we also need some macOS looking notifications on our fake macOS. So for that we have Top Notify. I downloaded this program and installed it. Now we can press on this button and set notifications to appear in this location right here. If we spawn some test notifications, they appear like this. I think I pressed the button a bit too many times. For some reason the trash icon has completely disappeared. I guess it's just normal Windows behavior. But now, let's look at the final result. We have done pretty well customizing the dock. The animations look just about right. Then we have our top menu panel. It looks kinda fake, to be honest. After that, we can press Shift Tab to open our Launchpad. To me, it looks more like that overview feature in Linux GNOME, to be honest, rather than the macOS Launchpad. And then also the notifications, which look pretty good, but maybe not really as good as macOS. I'm starting to realize that maybe this transformation was kind of pointless and default Windows looks better than this abomination we have created. But wait, did I do a better job when turning macOS into Windows 11? Find out in this video.
Ugh, another ad. In DNT Force, it's
This is macOS, and today I'll turn it into Windows 11. And not only is it going to look like Windows, it will also be able to run Windows programs. However, to get there we have to solve 3 problems. And so the first problem is the dock. Windows doesn't have that. Instead, it has a whole ass brick at the bottom, from one edge to the other. Replacing the dock on macOS is quite tricky, as a lot of third-party solutions simply suck. However, after some searching around, I found U-Bar, which also comes with fancy features like window previews. This will help us get the Windows brick, aka the taskbar on macOS. Once U-Bar was installed, I actually thought it looked pretty good, quite similar to the taskbar. Also, at this point I was thinking that this will probably end up looking like some cheap Chinese clone of Windows. I adjusted the size of the taskbar to something much bigger, so it resembles what we are going for. Then I set its color to this white one, and I also enabled some extra icons for there to be in our new taskbar. For some reason there was also trash bin on the bar enabled by default. I went ahead and disabled it, as Windows doesn't come with trash in this taskbar. Since we don't exactly have a start menu on macOS, I'll just set the macOS Finder to be in the left corner. That's probably close enough, as it lets you browse all of your folders, files, and programs. We also need to populate the taskbar with more icons, so I just added a bunch of random macOS programs there. Okay, it looks beautiful, but now, the second problem that we have to deal with is that we have to get rid of some macOS specific features that are not present on Windows, such as the top menu panel. Luckily, you can easily turn it off by going to Settings, navigating to Control Center, and there we have the option to hide top menu panel. Now it's gone. Then I went ahead and googled for the highest quality Windows 11 desktop wallpaper and found exactly what I was looking for. I downloaded it and set it as the desktop wallpaper. So far so good. But then if you look closely, when minimizing programs the Windows gets sucked into the dock. That doesn't happen on Windows. For that we need to turn off macOS animations. We can do that by going to Settings, Accessibility section and turn on Reduce Motion. This will remove all of the window opening and closing animations. Now it's pretty plain and basic, just like Windows. I hated this resolution that we were at, so I attempted multiple times to find something better. I do not understand why Apple doesn't let people scale the UI without changing the resolution. And so far, it looks somewhat like Windows. But now, the third problem. And that is that this is actually still macOS, and it runs macOS programs. We need to be able to run Windows programs somehow. That can be accomplished by installing Wine. So I went ahead and installed Wine using Homebrew. It took a little while, and now I also have to install Rosetta 2 for Wine to work properly. In the meantime, I decided that what better Windows program is there to run than Winamp, my favorite media player. I downloaded Winamp exe and it went in my downloads folder. Wine is also successfully installed. We are ready to run it. Hoping that everything would work, I opened Winamp exe with Wine and it started loading a bunch of stuff. At first, seeing so many errors made me a bit concerned, but eventually it opened this window, which is something that required in order to run. So I installed it. Then I could proceed to installing Winamp. I went through the whole process and eventually the program itself opened. And guess what? It worked flawlessly. I could play music on my fake looking Windows without any problems. And this is when I realized I had created something better than Windows. This custom made Windows clone can run Windows programs and it can run macOS programs. Real Windows can't do that, I bet. It also has none of the Microsoft bloatware. At this point I could even call this something like the MacDOS 11 or WinMacOS. Or if you have any other names suggestions, leave them down in the comments please. Anyway, if you haven't already clicked on that subscribe button, then what the hell are you doing? Join the club right now.
I use this way to get a lot of Robux.
No!
Join the club right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna end the stream now.
No!
Where see you next stream.